One of Worf's finest moments is in the Star Trek Next Generation episode Heart of Glory, in which Worf encounters some renegade Klingons. And these guys have their version of the Klingon dream, which is to achieve conquest on the battlefield. And by achieving conquest on the battlefield, achieve glory, achieve the immortality of victory, the immortality of a great warrior who will always be remembered for his conquests. Worf has to explain in the final confrontation to their leader what is wrong with this idea. What is wrong with this idea is that courage by itself isn't real courage. As Worf says, "In all your words weigh our duty, honor, loyalty, without which a warrior is nothing." True courage doesn't work by itself. True courage needs duty, honor, and loyalty to be true courage. I think what Worf has tapped into here is the thesis of the unity of the virtues. It's a thesis very prominent in ancient and medieval philosophy, and it's the idea that one virtue by itself is not the real virtue. You can't have one virtue without having all the other virtues. Courage is not the virtue of courage without wisdom, justice, and moderation. Now, this is from the classic list of the cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. And you can't have one unless you have all four. That's the thesis of the unity of the virtues. It's articulated very nicely, rather illustrated very nicely, in Book 8 of Plato's Republic. And on that articulation, on that illustration from Book 8, I believe I've written the definitive article. At least for now. Maybe someone will write a better one someday. Anyway, the unity of the virtues is a very important theme in Plato, Boethius, Augustine, Bishop Ambrose, various other ancient and medieval thinkers. And it is this idea that Worf has tapped into. Let's say something about courage and justice. If you don't have justice, what distinguishes courage from war crimes? And if you don't have wisdom, how do you know what you're fighting for is the right cause? How do you know you're fighting for the right side? How do you know without wisdom what is the right side in a conflict and how to go about that conflict properly? And so without wisdom, courage is just another vice. Maybe on some accounts of the unity of the virtues, it would be a lesser vice, almost a virtue, or a simulacrum of the virtue of courage, but not the real virtue. The real virtue of courage requires wisdom to guide it, and it requires justice to accompany it, and so on. Let's stop for a moment with the Star Trek and step into another world. In Batman Begins, Flass, the corrupt cop, says to Gordon, the honest cop, "I think someday you'll get wise and start doing what I'm doing." But what he's doing is injustice. It's participating in the corruption of Gotham City. And Gordon's reply is also a unity of the virtues thesis, if I'm not mistaken. Gordon says, "There's nothing wise about what you do, Flass, because there is no wisdom without justice." And so, this thesis of the unity of the virtues is very important, not only in ancient and medieval philosophy, but also in some science fiction.